why do we say Hades instead of hell?
On the Catechism.
My name is Sadie.
My name is Zach.
Welcome to Kids on the Catechism.
Yeah, it's the big episode. Why, in our version of the Apostles' Creed, do we say he descended into
Hades.
instead of what we say at church?
Hell.
He descended into hell. We will figure that out with the help of this whiteboard and some markers.
But first, it's juice time.
It is juice time. Avi's going to pour some Crystal Light peach tea, right?
Yeah.
That she mixed up for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You have had this before, of course. Take a drink. Tell us what you think.
I don't know how I made it that hot. I pulled the lever as far down as it could go. Is it supposed to go up to make it cold?
Is it hot?
It's not hot, but it's warm.
Yeah, I think you made it with warm water. Still tastes good.
Well, then it's the hottest it can go because
Wow.
I pushed it down.
It takes a while to warm up, so it just got to the warm.
Well, I just used it right away, so.
Right. Well, it tastes good. Well, what do you think? You give us the official. All right, we got a lot of energy.
10,000.
Well, that's not what we do for juice. You just tell us in words what you think.
Okay.
We got a lot of energy today because there was no school.
What about special guest?
Oh, and we have a special guest, but not May, so we can't use May's intro. But why don't you bring in your friend and tell us who she is, Coco. Careful with your chair back there. Careful with your chair. Okay, very important.
She's
All right, we did
too
it.
short, but whatever.
That may need to move because we got a lot to do on the table today.
Yeah, I can move it when it's time.
Because we are talking about question and answer 44 of the Heidelberg Catechism, which is the big question. What do you mean he descended to hell?
What do you Like, he rose up and, like, he was, like, sent to hell or something like that.
Interesting. Now, this is why I have such a problem with this.
Yeah, we can move that.
People want to see your face. Because most people, I think, most people think what you just said. That Jesus, after he died, went into hell for 3 days before he rose again. When they hear the Apostles' Creed...
I meant like he went to hell but then came right back.
What do you mean right back? Back to where?
So he stayed there and then they buried him in the tomb and then it's kind of like, I want to say he visited hell and then came right back.
Back to where? Where did he go back to?
His tomb.
So he was in his tomb?
Oh, right. That's what wasn't there like 3 days and then...
There were 3 days before he rose. So that's why I think a lot of people go through the creed because the creed seems to be in order. He was born of the Virgin Mary. He suffered under Pontius Pilate. He was crucified, died, was buried, and then you'd think this has all been one after another, and then he descended into hell. Now, interestingly, here's how the Catechism answers this question. What do you mean that he descended to hell? Avi, could you read that for us?
to assure me in times of personal crisis and temptation that Christ my Lord, by suffering unspeakable anguish, pain, and terror of soul, especially on the cross, but also earlier.
When?
Yes.
Say it again.
Especially on the cross, but also earlier.
Okay. Keep going.
Has delivered me from the anguish and
Torment.
of hell. I can read that, just
Yes,
I
I know.
can't see it behind the camera.
So what the Catechism is saying is that Jesus experienced hell after he was buried? Yes or no?
No.
No. On the cross, but also earlier. Not after. Well, that's really confusing. When I was a kid and I asked my pastor about this, my pastor answered my question. Why do we say he descended to hell? My pastor answered with this answer from the Catechism, and it didn't work for me because everything else in the creed has been in chronological order. He was born, suffered, crucified, died, buried, descended. And now, all of a sudden, the Catechism is talking like this descended into hell part happened back when we were talking about his suffering on the cross. Now, interestingly, the answer to question 44, which you just read for us so beautifully, is almost exactly the same as the answer to the question we asked about Jesus' suffering. Both of them were talking about how in all of his life, body and soul, and especially on the cross, Jesus experienced the suffering that we experience, but also releases us from God's wrath. Almost the exact same answer. And so you have to wonder, if this is what the Apostles' Creed meant by descended into hell, why bother? It's like they've already dealt with this in the suffering part. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why is it there? Okay, here's why I have the whiteboard. If you can move this stuff out of my way, I'm going to do some drawing.
Like this.
And try and help us understand why Hades might be a better way of understanding
And then you might want to take this down too.
what happened or where Jesus went after he was buried. Jesus was dead for how many days?
3.
Now his body went in the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
Where did his soul go?
To hell?
Okay, that's what the creed tells us. What do we mean? What do we mean when we say hell? See, I think this whole issue is a problem with words. The English language doesn't really have the words to express what the Apostles' Creed is saying in the Greek language. So here's what we need to understand, okay? We think in terms of heaven. Heaven's up here, okay? And maybe this is earth.
And then isn't hell like down
And
here?
we would say down to hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the way that we think about the spiritual world. You can be here, or you can be up in heaven, or you can be down in hell. But it is not the way that the Jews in the Hebrew language or the Greeks think about the afterlife. Okay? For example, when Jesus is hanging on the cross and the thief next to him puts his faith in Jesus, Jesus says, "Today you will be with me in..." Do you know this?
Heaven.
"Today you will be with me in paradise," he says.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But he said today.
Yeah. So when they die together, they're going where?
To heaven.
Sure seems like it. But then the Apostles' Creed says he descended to
How?
interesting. I think I can make sense of this if we have a proper understanding of the way that Jesus and the people of his time were thinking about the afterlife. There is a place called in the Hebrew, Sheol, in the Greek, Hades, that is just a way of talking about the place where dead souls go. Okay? And so you have to think about Sheol and Hades as two kind of
You've all
parts
different
in
colors.
between, okay? This is the place of the dead. Okay, that says Hades. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Hades is the place where dead souls go. And there's a good part and there's a bad part. In one place, Jesus tells a parable of the rich man and Lazarus. And he says that Lazarus went to what he calls Abraham's bosom. So he was with Abraham. Abraham is in Hades. And the rich man goes to a place of torment in Hades. But they can see each other and communicate to each other. Okay, so they're kind of together, but in a good place and a bad place. And so there's a good place in Hades and there's a bad place in Hades. Now, it says in the end of the Bible in Revelation that after Jesus comes again, Satan gets thrown into hell and all of Hades with him. So there is movement from Hades into hell. We also learn, I believe it's in Ephesians, I should have double checked this. I'll put a correction on the screen if it's wrong. That Jesus, talking about Jesus' ascension, his resurrection ascension, that he led captives in his train to the heavenly places.
So the bottom part goes down here and the top part goes up there.
Yes.
So this is the good part, this is the bad part.
Yes, there is a place called Sheol in Hebrew or Hades in Greek that has a good part and a bad part. It is not what we think about the finality of heaven and hell. And when Jesus rose again, he brought the good people to heaven. They're in heaven now. The bad people stay in Hades until Jesus comes again and they're judged by being tossed into hell. Nobody's in hell yet.
Oh.
Okay? So when it says that he descended to
So we'll go to
Hades,
heaven if we believe in God.
If
But
we
if
believe
we
in God,
don't,
we'll go to
Hades.
Hades for now. And Hades is not we will not go to the good part of Hades in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when in the Greek, the Apostles' Creed says he descended to Hades,
So they're saying he went to the good part.
it means that he went to the place, his soul went to the place where dead souls go. And Jesus was in the good part of Hades. And he was able to be seen, like the rich man and Lazarus were able to communicate. And so there's a place in 1 Peter, or maybe 2 Peter, I'll put that on the screen as well, where Jesus announces to the spirits in prison about his crucifixion, the fact that he had conquered sin and was about to conquer death. And he can do that in Hades without being in hell. And so that's why I prefer to say he was buried, he descended to Hades, because that's the way the Greek Apostles' Creed says it. But we don't have a word for this place in English. Right?
I like to call it Hades.
And so we don't know how to explain it. And I say, I'll leave it in the Greek and we'll just explain it. Because saying hell, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, confuses people. Because we have something in mind when we say hell. And so people assume, oh, that means Jesus went down to be with the devil and he was in fire for 3 days before he came back.
Well,
That's
I
not
thought
what
it was
happened.
like he was just in a bad place where everyone's like killing each other.
Right. And that is not what the Apostles' Creed means, and it's not what the Bible says about what happened to Jesus in those 3 days. So I think instead of connecting Jesus' suffering and his descent into hell like the Catechism does, even though I love the Catechism, I think what the Apostles' Creed writers are trying to do is connect his burial and his descent into Hades. His body was buried, which we said last week means he was really dead. And his spirit went to Hades, which means he was really dead. And so in the Apostles' Creed, when we say he was buried and descended to Hades, what we're saying is his body and soul were both definitely dead because of our sin. What do you think about all this?
I learned a lot today.
We learned a lot today. And this is something that a lot of people don't know. And that's why I think if we use the word Hades, people would say, wait, what do you mean by that? And we would have a chance to explain and learn.
If someone just said Hades, I'm like, I think that's the same as hell. Like, it's just another word of saying hell.
Right now,
That's what I would think.
Right now, it is very similar to hell because Jesus has already brought the people like Abraham.
I know, but
to heaven.
back then, I'd still think Hades was part of hell if you didn't tell me this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Hades was the same thing as hell.
Baby's Book Review.
I think I've told you about Claudia and the Phantom phone calls, right?
I don't think so.
Really?
You're always surprised, but I'm telling you the truth. I don't know it.
I definitely thought I told you last time.
Okay, well, tell me this time.
Okay. So there's a girl named Claudia. She, there's something called the Halloween Hop
Okay.
that is like a dance. It's like a dance, it's like a dance for they were in 7th grade. Does that mean they're middle schoolers?
Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm. So, and they said they were 12. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they'd be maybe 12 or 13 in some grade. I'm not exactly sure.
Cause it was like their first day of
Okay, sounds about right to me.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And then Claudia had a babysitting job after school, I think. And then the lights went out, so she got so scared, especially because there was someone named the Phantom phone caller who phone calls people who he might want to steal from. But that was when she was babysitting. She thought he called her to see that. But and she said, wouldn't it be like the stuff they have when she know about it? But actually, it was in the end they figured out it was just her boyfriend.
A boyfriend in 7th grade and a dance in 7th grade? This doesn't sound like very good parents of a 7th grader.
No, it was the school made the dance.
Sounds like a bad school and sounds like bad parents, in my opinion, but.
Okay, but and so he finally, when he called, he actually asked her if she wanted to go to the Halloween hop with him.
Halloween hop, cool.
But that same thing happened to Christy, which is another one of the babysitters.
Okay.
And but she figured out that was one of the mean boys. Well, it was actually, and then but he was acting mean because he couldn't figure out how to tell her he wanted to go to the Halloween hop
yes,
with
boys
her.
do that. They're mean to the girl they like. Yeah.
So, and then she figured out it was that, but they had to call the police because they saw him through the window.
Oh,
he was
scary.
trying to scare them while she was babysitting.
Right.
But then the police found him, and they figured out it was him.
I'm surprised this book didn't give you nightmares. That's kind of scary.
It actually kind of scared me. I thought there was someone coming in my room, in my mind, but It wasn't a nightmare. And also, when I do have nightmares, I try to like open up my eyes so that it goes away. I actually don't come up to sleep upstairs. Sometimes.
Yeah,
May
you don't
does.
come up.
She even makes up her bad dreams.
Both of you are very good at staying.
She's like, I have a bad dream that spiders are crawling on me. Actually, sometimes that just pops into my mind, but that was a long time ago, so that doesn't happen to me anymore.
Okay.
Now I don't really get that many nightmares.
How do you rate the Halloween Hop? We're getting into like
Claudia and the Phantom phone calls.
Did you like it?
Also, the Phantom phone caller was actually like way in a far away place. Way farther, but they were scared he was in Stony Brook. So that's where they live.
How do you rate it?
It's number 2 in the Babysitter's Club. 20 million thumbs up.
Sweet. Can you guess the next question of the Heidelberg Catechism?
Why do you always forget that?
I don't know. I remember now.
Is it next in the third day he rose again?
Yes. How does the resurrection benefit you?
Oh, I was thinking the question could be like, why did it have to be on the third day?
It's not quite so specific. Good job. Thanks for watching. What are we supposed to say?
Keep following Jesus.
Keep reading your Bibles.
See you next time. Okay.